Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is CKT Chaotic. Today we are continuing on with the Remarried Empress. I know I have been gone for several months. I'm back. I built a PC that can run and record everything I need it to do and play games and everything, so we're back on track now. Today I will be reading episode 28 to 30. So where we last left off is the Empress was talking to Prince Henry about everything that's going on, and he's trying to figure out what is his dear friend is up to. So let's get to it. So this is a quick recap on the last few scenes from episode 28. Actually, Prince Henry, there's something I wanted to ask you. Huh? Certainly, my queen. What is it? I came across Duke Ergi yesterday. Oh dear, I hope he didn't try to flirt with you. He didn't. But he did say something strange. Huh? He said that you were the one who invited him to come here. Yes, I did. Our conversation was interrupted, but he was in the middle of saying that you had been preparing something for the last few years. I think the thing you were preparing for the last few years is a plan. What kind of plan would that be? To be continued. Alright, we're back on track. Let's go. Episode 28. I think the thing you were preparing for the last few years is a plan. Sorry guys, you're gonna hear some dishwashing in the background. My mom is just finished eating, so sorry about the little noise. What kind of plan would that be? He got that look on his face again. My queen. He looks really guilty. I don't want to lie to you. I see. So he is being genuine with me. But he is also definitely up to something. You don't have to answer me if it is difficult for you to do so. The Remarried Empress, episode 28. He's depressed. Oh. Are you feeling okay, Your Highness? He even made me act like his pet bird to impress the Empress. Oh my gosh, that's such a tongue twister. I guess it didn't work. Your Highness, did Her Majesty say something that upset you? Did something really happen? You know, McKenna, my feelings for her might run deeper than I thought. What do you mean? I think I said something I shouldn't have. Did you say something out of turn to Her Majesty? What if she starts becoming wary of me? If she stares deep into my soul with her piercing gaze? Don't tell me she found out that you can transform into a bird, Your Highness. No, it's not that. She found out about something else. Lady Artina, there is something I want you to discreetly find out for me. What is it, Your Majesty? I need to know what Prince Henry and Duke Ergi have been up to. What they've been up to. I can understand why you want me to find out more about Duke Ergi, but do you want me to investigate Prince Henry too, Your Majesty? That's right. Find out what they were up to before they attended the New Year's ceremony. In other words, I want to know what their movements were before they entered the palace. How on earth do you do that? Of course, Your Majesty. Stop. Click. The Western Kingdom poses the greatest threat to the Eastern Empire. But beside that, there's not much going on between us. I wonder what he's planning. You're back sooner than I thought. Did you find out anything useful? Yes, I found out something that is sure to be of interest, and it wasn't difficult to find. Rummage. I didn't realize that was Rashta talking. Slide. Read this. Huh? Oh, I thought the Emperor taught you how to read. That is such a jab. Rude. The beautiful Lady Nyan, the young Marquess Tanya, who entered a temple, and Lady Nyan's fiancé, Lord Rene. Scandal. It's a scandal that featured heavily in this pamphlet. But I asked you to find dirt on the Duchess. The Lady Nyan that they're talking about here is now known as Duchess Tanya. She wasn't born a duchess. So does that mean the Marquess Tanya they're referring to here is now Duke Tanya? The Marquess Tanya that they're talking about here was the eldest son of the late Duke Tanya, but now he is known as Lord Marius. I don't get it, but what does all this mean? I'll explain this to you using the titles that they are known by today. Duke Tanya's older brother, Lord Marius, fell in love with his brother's fiancée, Duchess Tanya. Very similar to the Spanish princess and King Henry. Really? Yes. Lord Marius wasn't even subtle about it, and it turned out that he and the Duchess were actually quite close. But when the Duchess ultimately chose to marry his brother, Lord Marius was so shocked that he gave up his claim to the duchy as well as his right to the inheritance. That's weird. And then he went to live in a temple. Why would he give up all this simply due to shock? Who knows, but the problem was, Lord Marius killed himself less than a week after he entered the temple. But that's not something I can use against the Duchess. It's not like she killed him herself. But you'll be interested in the rumor that followed his death. That's pretty fishy, honestly. What rumor? The Duchess gave birth to a child just 7 months after the wedding. What? The family claimed that the baby was just born prematurely, but there were rumors that the baby was actually Lord Marius' child. Then the company that produced this pamphlet went under. Now, this is something that I can use. So what do you think? Oh, this man is such a sleazeball. There's something else I want you to do for me. Something else? Since we're on the same side now, you'll have to keep working for me, don't you think? You said that Lord Marius killed himself in a temple, right? Yes. I want you to pay off some people who live near the temple to start a rumor. I want them to spread a rumor about how before Lord Marius killed himself, he was visited several times by a beautiful, noble woman. Oh, it seems you want to attack the Duchess, but do you think that rumor will be enough? It should be more than enough. Whoa. She has a backbone. I'm sure the man who looks at Duchess Tanya with disdain at every party is Duke Tanya. I'm sure it won't take much to set him off since it looks like he's already upset with the Duchess. If the rumor about the Duchess takes off, then the rumor that I'm a runaway slave should peter out. I have to find out more about the baby once I've taken care of this rumor. But I can't entrust that task to just anyone. Is there someone I can trust to find out the truth about the baby? Thanks to your Majesty's generosity, a child from our orphanage was able to enter the Academy of Magic for the very first time. Please accept our sincere gratitude for your help and support. So she made it. I have to go to Willwool if I want to congratulate her in person. I'll have to discuss it with Sovieshu. Did you find the Star of Red Flames? I don't know if I can say I found it. To tell you the truth, I gave the ring to Rashta, but it turns out she didn't know what it was and gave it to some poor servant girl. She didn't know what it can do? Well, so I told Count Fernier to find a similar ring, and he brought me this. He said he bought the ring from an auction last night. Isn't this a strange turn of events? I suppose the servant girl must have sold it because she needed the money. I think so too. But I doubt this servant girl would have been able to sell a valuable item like this at a fair price. So I told the Count to find out how much she sold it for. It was a truly generous act by Rashta. He's proud? Okay, wait till he finds out the truth. So I want to make sure the girl who sold this reimbursed properly for the ring. To be continued. You were big. Your Majesty. Huh. Count Fernier, did you find out what I asked for? How much did the servant girl sell the ring for? The merchant said the seller sold it for a fair price. But he also said something strange. What do you mean? He said that the person who sold him the ring wasn't a servant girl. Then who was it? He said it was Viscount Sovieshu. Ooh, ho, ho, ho. Yikes. The Remarried Empress, episode 29. This is entirely the Viscount's fault. Viscount Sovieshu would have nothing on me if I could simply prove that the baby he's raising isn't mine. Knock, knock. Huh? Your Majesty. Rashta, there's something I need to ask you. What is it, Your Majesty? Didn't you say that you gave the ring with the star of a red flame jewel to a servant girl? Oh, why are you asking me this all of a sudden? Did he find out that I gave it to the Viscount? If he did, the truth is, Your Majesty, that servant girl wasn't the only person that I gave gemstones rings to. You gave away rings to more than one person? I gave one to a servant girl and another ring to Viscount Sovieshu, but they all look really similar to me, so I don't know if I gave the ring to Viscount or the girl. Then why did you say you gave it to a servant girl? I thought that Your Majesty would be upset if I told you that I gave it to the Viscount. You're right, I am upset. Shut your face. I can't. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I wanted to give him something because I was so thankful that he lied on my behalf. He didn't do that for you. He only did it because he was forced to take responsibility for what he said. Is that true? Yes. Tell me, did you give it to him because he was actually blackmailing you? No, of course not. There's nothing he could use to blackmail me with. He already told everyone that I used to be a slave. He really didn't blackmail me, Your Majesty. Ugh, I cannot. I'll trust you since you're not denying it so firmly, but If that man is blackmailing you, Rashta, you should tell me instead of giving him anything, alright? I will. This is an order. No, I think it's best I check your jewelry box every day for a while. I beg your pardon? When you get your allowance for your dresses and accessories, I'll task Baron Lante with managing it. It's just going to be until you're able to manage by yourself, so don't get too put out over it. Wait, if he does this, if I won't be able to give anything to Viscount because of this, I'm in big trouble. She is pretty screwed. The magical city of Willwool. Congratulations, Evelie. Thank you, Your Majesty. She's a good, talented kid. Yes, I hope you would take good care of her. It worries me that the number of mages is falling every year. Click, click. I heard about this. Have you not found out why yet? I'm afraid not. We have people investigating this everywhere, but it's the rate of children manifesting magical abilities that seem to be falling. As mages become harder to find, this will heavily impact the strength of our military. Huh? What are these pictures? These are the portraits of students who graduated at the top of their classes. Grand Duke Kaufman? Ah, that's probably the dean. Why is that frame empty? Ah, it's someone who studied here briefly on an exchange program, but I left it empty because he wasn't formally enrolled here. He was at the top of his class, even though he was just an exchange student? That's incredible. Who was it? Well, it's Prince Henry from the Western Kingdom. It's the first time I've heard about this. Well, it's a little embarrassing that he performed better than our regular students after all. Plus His Highness asked me not to tell anyone else. Then how are you allowed to tell me? His Highness made a sudden visit yesterday. He told me if there was a visitor who asked about the empty frame, then it was fine to tell them the truth. I see. I thought he was in a palace when I left yesterday. How did he manage to get here so quickly? Have a safe journey, Your Majesty. If the prince can use magic, then it might be tricky to find out what he's planning. Huh? My queen, what a surprise to see you here. I would never have dreamed of meeting you here. I stopped by because I have some important business to attend to. It feels like we were meant to meet each other when we keep running into each other like this. Huh? Can I ask what brings you here? The dean asked to see me. His Highness made a sudden visit yesterday. That's not what the dean said. Could this also be part of his plan? Since it's such a happy coincidence that we met, shall we dine together, my queen? Very well. Look at the food. I've always thought that you look a lot like Queen. Do I? Yes. I noticed you have blonde hair and he has yellow feathers, and you both have purple eyes. Really? Do you really think I look like a bird? He has such beautiful eyes that reminds me of violets. Your Majesty, has anyone ever told you that you have beautiful eyes? It is what you say to every girl you meet. Then do you enchant everyone you meet with those beautiful eyes of yours? Stop this nonsense. I heard from the dean that you have an aptitude for magic. He said that you were at the top of your class here. Did he really say all that? I've heard that every mage has a different magical specialty. Is that true? It's true. Another witch or wizard may or may not be able to use the same kind of magic as me. Then, what's your specialty? Oh, this is good. Oh, to be continued. And we're back. My specialty is, well, let's just say I can fly and leave it at that. You can fly? How incredible! Can you take someone with you while you're flying? It depends on who it is. How about me? Can you take me with you while you're flying? Well, Your Majesty is a little too heavy for me to carry. Oh, uh-oh. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that you're heavy. I'm just meaning that you're too heavy for me to carry while flying. I see. Are you upset? If you call a woman heavy or big or whatever, you better have a good explanation or follow-up because she will dismiss you so quickly. No, no. That was a curt reply. I think you're angry. No, I'm not. The Remarried Empress, episode 30. The next evening. How was your day at Wilwol, Your Majesty? It was quite interesting. Did anything happen while I was away? Don't even get me started. It was total chaos. What do you mean? Duchess Twania got into a catfight with another noble woman. She did. What do you mean? Duke Erge rented that entire opera house and threw a surprise party. Since the Duke was hosting it, practically everyone was there. Then, at one point, during the party, I saw Duchess Twania and Duke Erge standing on the balcony together. Lady Rashta doesn't know the ways of the nobles yet. Then teach her some manners, insincere. That's unexpected. As the most popular gentleman and lady in society, they were together by themselves. Everyone had their eye on them. The first to emerge from the balcony was Duke Erge. What about Rashta? She was chatting with the Grand Duke Roth at the moment. Someone then asked Duke Erge if he found Duchess Twania beautiful. I suppose he gave an awful answer. Now I understand why so many men fall for her, is what he said. That's all I managed to hear, but I don't know what happened next when the fight broke out. It was complete mayhem. Laura! Duchess Twania slapped Duke Erge in the face. The Duke's head turned like that. And when suddenly a woman ran towards the Duchess and started pulling her hair from behind. Oh dear. Huh? That woman was one of Duke Erge's former lovers. Apparently she'd been pursuing him even after they broke up. And no one knows why the Duchess acted that way? No. Then I'm sure all sorts of speculative rumor will start to spread. Don't worry about it too much, Your Majesty. These kinds of incidents happen every year. I'm sure people will find something else to talk about soon. Oh, look at Queen! Huh? Queen, are you alright? Drink this, Queen. Oh, he's guzzling down the water. So cute. Are you okay now? Oh. So, huh? What's wrong, Queen? Queen? Oh, is he trying to pick up the bird? Trying to pick up the Empress? Oh, he's tired. Sometimes you act just like a person. What's the matter, Queen? Were you acting like that because you wanted to take me somewhere? Oh, the little nudge. What was he trying to do? Was he really trying to take me to Prince Henry? Your Majesty, good afternoon. Rashta. Your Majesty, may I discuss something with you real quick? Speak. Um, so what's the matter? I heard that I will be given an allowance as a mistress. How much will I receive? About 30,000 crans per year. Really? When can I start receiving the money? From the beginning of the next month. Why? Then, will there be a record of the amount that I receive? Yes, for bookkeeping. Yesterday, His Majesty said Baron Lante will be in charge of managing my finances. Could you give me some of that money, separately? Separately? You don't need to worry. Even Baron Lante manages your money. He won't say anything about how you spend it. No, that's not what I mean. Could you perhaps give me 15,000? No, 10,000 crayons out of the total and keep it off the record? Would that be possible? I heard that sometimes there are two sets of records. It's not impossible to do, but I think you should get permission from His Majesty first. His Majesty is the one who is responsible for your welfare, so you should ask him directly. What are you so upset about today? The Empress is so cold-hearted. Did you have an argument with her? She's not the type to provoke you first. Do you think the Empress is a nice person? No, as you said, she's very reserved. She's very strict about setting boundaries, and she acts like an empress, thinks like an empress, and speaks like an empress. How can you tell all that from the short amount of time you've known her? Well, it's not a short amount of time, as I've been observing her for a long time. So what's the matter? You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. There's an allowance that mistresses are allocated. I asked her to give me some of it separately, but she refused. What? Why did you ask for that? Because I need money. I'm sure His Majesty would give you whatever you need if you ask. It's not that easy. His Majesty said that Baron Lante will be in charge of my allowance. Then I won't be able to spend it freely. Why would that matter? If you really need money, then how about I lend you some? You do that? We can put together an IOU and write down the exact amount that I lend you. You don't even have to pay me back until you're in charge of your own finances. All right, I won't ask for the money back for about 5 years. What do you think? Then, however, there's a catch. To be continued. Oh my gosh, we literally ended on another cliffhanger, but it is a spicy cliffhanger, okay? We have to know the catch. So this guy, Duke Urgi, is willing to give Rashta a loan, and we don't know how much and what are his conditions. So we're so ready for it. I'll catch you guys next week for the next reading. See you guys then.
A tornado flew around my room before you came. Excuse the mess it made. Usually doesn't rain. Yeah. But tonight I'm really feeling pressure, girl. You know I'm feeling. I can do you better than he did it. Yes, I mean it. Take you on a ride, and every road you see is scenic. You're so beautiful, know you my baby, love you know I need it.